What is up, you guys? I have a quick kind of tip for you guys. If you guys saw my other video that was really long, that 17-minute long video about how I process my synths sometimes and how I build up my layers, then you'll know this sound right here. So if you want to if you want to know how I did that, go watch that other video. It's how I process and build layers or whatever. But when I was done with that video, right after I stopped recording, I added on the reverbs and the extra things that I always do add. And I was just thinking how interesting it would be to show you guys this trick that I use with a reverb and a gate using a send. So if you guys saw that other video or just don't even care to see that one, just know that I have two silents in here and I have them grouped together, and inside of this group now I will send everything that's playing here to a send, and here it is, and I just have a reverb and a gate. So this gate right here is pretty much going to cut off the reverb sound once this the group 10 over here stops playing. So we're gonna look at the gate as I play a note. So I'm gonna play a note here, and then it's going to be sended over here, and once that note stops, the gate will close the reverb. So watch right here. And now if I turn it off, you'll hear the difference. It goes on much longer. Now I did add a release to it so that it wouldn't be so harsh, but now if I take it off, you can hear how it cuts out much faster. Now I'm going to put it back to where I had it, maybe around there. And I'm going to just solo this now. So we're just going to be listening to this, and we're going to do the same thing again. See how it cuts off right away? There is a little bit of reverb on this group 10 inside of the silence, so it's a little hard to it was harder to tell until I actually soloed it for you guys to hear, but there was a difference that I wanted to show you with that. And now if I turn it off, you'll hear how long it'll drag out. And now if I wanted to, I can make this ridiculously long. So it's just a big ass reverb. And now I can just gate it, and it stops like that. And now I have this just gigantic reverb that isn't, choking the mix, and it's not all over the place. I'm gonna bring it back down a bit because that's a little too much even for me. And I will now just listen to it. And now I'm gonna take it off. So that's what I had before, and that's what you guys might have had if you did that other video. Now with it, and it's a really cool trick. So I might even just lower this maybe 3 dB, see how that sounds, so it's mixed in a little better. And when you take minus 3 dB or negative 3 dB to anything is to the human ear half the amplitude, or a better way to say it is adding 3 dB is double the amplitude by apparent human hearing. It's not in units, but it is to our ears. So every 3 dB is double or half the amplitude. So think about that when you're mixing. That's why a lot of mixers will mix in 3 to 4 dB increments. So, they won't go 1 dB at a time. They'll mix at 3 dB. So it's either it's at 0 dB, negative 3 dB, 6 dB, 9 dB, just increments of 3. And then you can fine tune it later in between. But anyway, so this reverb is just, actually I should just say that adding your reverbs to a send and having it like this is actually the proper way to do reverbs, because then you're able to mix it in. And the problem with reverbs is that it pushes things back, and then there are other things that reverbs do that introduce problems to a mix, like there's treble frequencies that are amplified and things get less loud. So if I had that reverb on here onto my group, it would make this, it would push it back further. So having it here, I can mix it in and still have all of this. And I like to low cut and high cut on my EQ, so I'm not getting, so I'm not just EQing low sounds I don't really need, and I'm not using the high bright stuff either. So I like to do that. And as you can see, my settings are just very normal. Just I turn these off. I didn't put diffuse up or anything. I just kind of have a 1 second by 80 1 second decay time. It's not really a long decay time, but using this technique, you could have it like all the way up, and it's not gonna be as bad as it would be if you didn't have this gate. But even 10 seconds is a cool place sometimes for that obvious effect, especially on vocals. But that's a little too much even for me. And I'll just bring it back down to around where I had it. And for the gate here, I'm just sidechaining. What I'm running through the sidechain of the gate is actually group 10. I think I might have said that earlier, but I'm just kind of now repeating it because I'm now on to talking about the parameters I've set here. So let me just play it. So I wish I could freeze it, but yeah, this is what I'll do. Okay, I could talk over that. So what I like to do is I like to set the threshold kind of to the peaks of where the white lines are shown. I mean, usually in Pro Tools I would do this by ear, but I'm glad that Ableton allows me to just kind of do it much faster by cheating and looking at this nice little graphical meter thing. So I set my threshold to match that, and then I add a little bit of return beneath that just to add a little bit more volume to that and a little bit more of a release. And then I set my release to around 50 milliseconds, which is in my BPM like maybe like 1/32 of a delay or something like that, 32ths or maybe less, maybe 64 note, I don't know. It's a really quick release, but it's so much better than just having it at 0, because then it just cuts out. So I kind of, just as a starting point, always have mine when I'm in this BPM around 50. There's an algorithm for calculating delays, and you can use it for reverbs too. It's 60,000 divided by your BPM, and that will get you a 1/4 note delay. And if you times that in half, then you have 1/8 notes. And then if you divide that by half also, then you have 16th notes, and so on and so forth. So I hope that made sense. I think I said for once you have the calculation of 60,000 divided by your BPM, that will get you quarter notes, and then you divide that, and then you have 1/8 notes. I think I might have said it funny. So anyway, and then next thing I do is I just set the floor. With this, it's a little bit tricky because I'm used to other gates, and I don't really use the gates inside of Ableton too often. I usually just use compressors if I'm in the dynamics section. Within Ableton, I'm used to the Pro Tools gates, but with floor, I kind of just set it to around negative 50 dB. Also, I just kind of use that as my starting point. So for my release and my floor, I just go to 50 dB and 50 milliseconds as my go-to, as a starting point. And that's really it. So hope you guys like this trick. If you're not too comfortable with gates, you can also do this with compressors, but the reason why you want to use gates is because gates will close the sound much more than a compressor. A compressor will probably just close the sound as it's playing and then open it up when it's not, where the gate will close the sound when the source isn't playing. So it has the sound open. It's kind of like a front door. So like when the MIDI notes are playing over here, then the door is open and the reverb is playing with it. And then when the notes stop over here, then that door closes and the reverb then closes with it. And then release is pretty much is how quickly that door shuts or how slowly it shuts. So okay, I should really plan what I say before I do my videos, but I kind of just do these impulsively. So anyway, hope you guys like that little trick, and thanks. Like and subscribe. You know the biz.